New York Governor Kathy Hochul, Democrat, nominated a conservative anti-abortion judge after promising she would protect reproductive rights. As of now, Hochul has not given a statement as to her reasoning for the appointment. You heard it. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Thursday nominated Hector D. LaSalle, a conservative jurist who is sided with crisis pregnancy centers, or CPCs, to lead the state's highest court for a 14-year term. You have to wonder if she's appointing people who support CPCs. Is she on PCP? That's the question going through my mind. It's pure speculation, but I'd like to get to the bottom of it. LaSalle was one of 7 candidates submitted to the governor by the State Commission on Judicial Nomination, but in a Monday letter, nearly 50 law professors urged Hochul to not pick LaSalle to be chief judge of the New York State Court of Appeals because of his, quote, cavalier attitude towards reproductive rights, hostility to organized labor, and a worrying insensitivity to due process. Other than that, he's a real nice guy, so he's got that going for him. Here's one reason they're concerned about his judicial record. In 2010, the New York City Council held hearings into CPCs and determined that one of them, expectant mother care, was practicing medicine without a license. On the basis of that finding, the New York Attorney General served it with a subpoena to learn more about its operations. To remind you, these CPCs are these conservative organizations that purport to be providing pregnancy planning and family planning care, but instead are there to mislead and pull people away from their own bodily autonomy rights and making decisions on their own. Justice LaSalle intervened in this case to shield the CPC from the application of healthcare licensing laws. The opinion stated that the Attorney General could not get the advertisements and promotional literature, brochures and pamphlets that the CPC provided or disseminated to the public in New York State, or the list of CPC's funders, even after court review. The opinion Justice LaSalle joined concluded that the information was not important or relevant enough to the Attorney General's investigation to require disclosure even to the court. I mean, that is shady-ish if you ever heard any. Not even to give them access to the brochures the general public could get. What are you hiding, baby? It's imperative that New York judges appreciate the importance of the right to choose and the many different fraudulent subterfuges anti-choice activists deploy, as written in a letter from law professors reported by Jezebel. What has Hochul said previously about abortion rights? Was she ambiguous? Did she make it seem like maybe she would be open to appointing so-called pro-life judges? Well, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, Hochul said the state would be, quote, a safe harbor for abortion patients and created a $35 million fund for abortion clinics to help them handle the coming tide of out-of-state patients, like the Louisiana woman who was forced to travel 1,400 miles to New York for an abortion. Hochul called the overturning of Roe repulsive at every level. Yet, this is what happened. Jackson, what reason possibly would Hochul be approving this person to the highest spot on the bench in her state?
I think that instances like this really go to show that the money in the system is really what makes the decisions at the end of the day. Because when you have a lot of bureaucracy and when you have a lot of layers with any type of hierarchy, regardless, you're gonna need to be able to count on your other managers. You're gonna be able to need to count on whoever it is that's operating. Hochul, whether she knows it or not, allowed this judge, whether she really checked his background or not, it doesn't matter. Her nominating this person is completely contradictory to the statements that she made. But again, oftentimes people in these positions, it's just part of their career. They raise money all the time. They're used to the money in the system. They're surrounded by it. They swim in it. It's nothing to them. So again, a lot of these nominations that we see, it can be easy and accurate to point our finger at people in specific positions, but really it's just the money making the decisions. And that's the biggest problem with our system at large, is because oftentimes the people who we elect elect to be in these positions, they don't make no decisions. The people who've been putting money in that seat have been putting money in that seat for decades. So that's really the biggest issue here.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And also, I fear that the tide of public sentiment of outrage against the overturning of Roe v. Wade is waning. I think people are adjusting to this new normal, and we can't let that happen because these are human rights that are being taken away. To some degree, it makes me much more glad that I live in a state that at least is a true safe harbor here in California. And that does point out the very large gulf sometimes between states, and that states' rights are still a very important part of this country. And you sometimes wonder, why do we have to keep fighting for other states that don't allow the same freedoms to their people in a country that has the freedom to decide state by state a lot of these issues? And then you see something like this happen in New York, and you realize, well, that's why, because it slips in everywhere. There's Trojan horses that are not even going to allow you to use Trojans. We'll get to that part of the story in a second. But these people that don't want to stop, that do want to stop, rather, people expressing their own true freedom and instead want to impose their vision of the world on others. And it's a good chance to remind all of you that if you find yourself in a situation, a state, a family, a circumstance, that you are not being given your full access to your own human rights, to your ability to make your own decisions for your life, there are options. You can now, thankfully, instead of, God forbid, having to go to dangerous back alley abortions, you can go to a website called plancpills.org, plancpills.org, and get abortion medication sent to you. It's safe and easy to use, and you can take care of your own life and make your own decisions that way without the long arm of the government. A lot of people that are against government overreach on the right side of the aisle, as I've said before, have no issue with government interreach, reaching right into your body. So don't let that happen.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.